People ask me what Project Stone really is, and I tell them the truth. It's not just one large tool, one website or network of websites, or one mission. It's culmination of a lifetime of bearing witness. As a 9/11 first responder, as a father of four, as a man who watched systems meant to protect families, instead, they become machines that destroy them for profit. Project Stone, Stone 911, Wonder Grid, the full Stone tools arsenal, and the entire Stone911.org Shield Wall Network. That's my answer to the oldest question in human history. What happens when truth is allowed to disappear? When evidence is buried, when power writes the official story, and families are torn apart in the dark, behind closed doors. I didn't just wake up one day and decide to know this. I was forged in the fire. Years of digging through raw government documents, exposing contractor cartels, watching Title 4E, ASFA, Title IVB, and Medicaid pipelines turn children into revenue streams. And that pain and those tears became the fuel. I taught myself advanced cryptography, distributed systems, post-quantum resistant architectures, Merkle tree lattices, zero knowledge proofs, CAN bus security layers, CAD system hardening, immutable truth trails. Not because I loved it. Not because I love sitting in front of the screen for so many hours and my head hurts. Not because I love working 20 hours a day, sleeping for less, and sometimes 3 or 4 hours. But because evidence before force, it isn't a slogan. It's the only moral foundation left when institutions have abandoned the truth. Wonder Grid is the immutable heart of it all. It is the living cryptographic grid where every record, every document, photo, video, audio, intake report, court filing, financial disclosure, 911 call, where all their contractor payments, behind every LLC hotline number, behind every HOA complaint file, becomes a sealed event where its own unbreakable hash fingerprint is right there the moment it enters the system. Change one bit, one pixel, one character, and years later, decades later, hundreds of years later, the chain still screams. But it does not stop isolated records. Wonder Grid connects them. It builds relational timelines of cross-verified context graphs, Merkle groove histories, and it turns that disconnected into silos of navigational, kind of a map of reality itself. And this is not just some Dropbox with encryption. It's a truth infrastructure that moves truth faster. The way a power grid moves electricity, the way RF radio frequencies move, the way speed travels faster than light, stone time. In the same way that an internet moves packets. Every single node strengthens every other node. Every single independent validator adds that resistance, while centralized control becomes impossible because the system itself verifies it. So from my raw Project Stone Docu drops, those 40 plus deep dives exposing specific cartel contracts, ownership structures, fiscal incentives, and amendment manipulations that most people will never have the stomach to read. While Wonder Grid takes the chaos out of it and forges order. Pulse gate sits at the intake layer before any emergency response, before any child removal, before any child is ripped from their mother's arms, before any child is taken from their father, before a child has to lose their family and their parents. Before any state action. I built a cryptographic gate that demands evidence, verifiable evidence. No more concern calls, no more anonymous calls, no more redacted calls, no more hidden financial motivations. No more he said, she said. No more I believe I said this that she said. No more concerns. No more bills next door. Making a concern. No more hearsay, no more bias, no more commodification while destroying humanity itself. Those kind of concerns from certain 1974, 1997, 1980, well, that was the Watergate. And now the gates are open and the light is here. And we're going to save humanity in every city, every county, every state, every country, and every place on Earth and other planets to come. So Wonder Grid takes out the chaos and forges order. Then you got Pulse Gate that sits right there at the intake layer. Now you have the stone counter, and that tracks every incentive in real time. Tracks the dollars flowing to the contractors, the agencies, the private entities. You know where that word came from. When I demanded in 2013 what I had done as a father, that word came up. And these certain entities, these LLCs, NGOs, private parties. They create a public, audible, transparency system that they can't hide from with NRS laws, which makes corruption not radioactive. It makes it transparent. It makes it the way our forefathers intended it to be. Stone Tools is the practical arsenal. CAD Shield hardens computer-aided dispatch systems against manipulation, backdoors, and selective logging. It turns legacy 911 infrastructure into cryptographically accountable platforms where every single decision leaves a permanent, verifiable trail. We're talking about post-quantum cryptography that survives even nation-state-level attacks. We're talking about selective disclosure mechanisms that let investigators and families prove facts without doxing innocence. Zero-knowledge proofs that let a parent demonstrate this record was altered without relieving their whole situation on the line for their whole life and everyone to see. And these are not the future promises. This is the secure stone wall that they will never be able to give anybody ever again because of my architecture that I engineered, node by node, document by document, tier by tier. Now we have the stone911.org network, stone-911.org. And this network is our shield wall. It's the command index that ties everything together. It has Project Stone's raw exposés, the family protection protocols, the global replication model, the Mars forward vision that refuses to export Earth's broken incentives to new worlds. We're going to leave that Earth's business. This is bigger than one country. This is the blueprint for ending the Cash for Kids pipeline worldwide. Every state, every nation can run its own pulse gate. Every community can maintain its own verifiable grid. Families become the validators. We become united citizens, and citizens become the auditors. No more single point of failure, no more institutional memory loss, no more the dog ate the records, no more you can talk to my city attorney, no more you can talk to our city attorney and district attorney. Those excuses when power wants to hide behind NRS, when they're talking about your children, your community, your history, your heritage, your heart, your soul, everything that is on this earth and beyond. It becomes essential to save not only humanity, but mankind, and to unite us together as a shield wall of light. And I see Project Stone as the biggest history breakthrough of our whole entire era and beyond, not because It finally solves all the previous constitution, revolution, and reform to failed solve everything permanently, but because of how we did it together as a shield wall to end the corruption of the record itself. Pharaohs rewrote history on stone walls. Empires burned libraries. Governments classified documents. Tech companies deleted archives. Administrations changed servers. Parents had their records stonewalled. But now, for the first time, we have the technology, and we will make the record itself resistant to time, to politics, and to greed. Wonder Grid does not decide truth. Humans still do that. What it does do is make lying about the truth a lot harder, because it completely dismantles their bureaucratic games, and it creates footprints that time can't erase. Different laws and arrest laws, and like in different states, can't hide behind the private labyrinths that they create. What it does do is it makes lying about the truth exceptionally hard, and it turns instead evidence into a living, distributed shield wall that protects the innocent before force is ever deployed. This is personal. As a dad, I built so many things that no family has to ever want to go through, or when so many people have endured so many horrible things like done to their family, having their children removed on flimsy, unverifiable claims. All these contractors, LLCs, NGOs, churches, HGOs, HOAs, and neighbors. Flip the system on you with 911, 311, HOA violation reports. And that's why it's personal. It hurts you. I always believe to be good to thy neighbor. I believe 911 is made for emergencies. Sometimes terrible things. Sometimes beautiful things like maybe having a baby. But it should never be used to be turned into revenue streams. 911, 311 should never have been turned into revenue streams. And now they have LLCs who have their own hotline numbers, who have now turned it into revenue streams. People's suffering should never be turned into money. So this stops the greed. And it makes it a lot harder that time can't erase it. And as a 9/11 first responder at the World Trade Center, I know what it means when official narratives clash with lived reality. As a builder, I know that infrastructure determines civilization's destiny. Roads determine movement. Power grids determine capability. Communication networks determine awareness. Wonder grid in the stone ecosystems determines whether a whole civilization can actually trust its own memory. And the core runs a lot deeper than the tech. It's about accountability as we move towards real justice as a precursor to justice, not the aftermath. Preserve the record first, verify the facts second. Assign responsibility third. Reform incentives fourth. Everything else is theater. I'm not here to replace human judgment with AI or algorithms. I'm here to give human judgment better raw material than it has ever had, ever before in history. To every parent fighting for their kids, never give up. Moms and dads will go to hell and heaven for their kids. And the tech I invented is going to save moms, dads, and kids for generations to come. To every journalist chasing real stories, to every researcher that's tired of vanishing resources, to every policymaker who still believes in evidence, to every builder who wants to create something that outlives them. This network is yours. My tools are open for replication. The documents are there to study. This is to save the world. This is to save humanity together, united as one nation under God. My stone tools and architecture is there to fork and to improve. Project Stone was never meant to be a one-man's crusade. It was meant to unite us. It was meant to become a global standard. Evidence before force. Family safe first. Truth in the grid. When future historians look back at this moment, at the collapse of trust in institutions, at the weaponization of child welfare, at the digital fragility of memory, I want them to see that one man, one dad, who believes in God, forged his own path with God's light, with loss, with tears, with 9/11 dust in his lungs. And they're going to realize that I decided to build the countermeasure for the public, for everybody. Not perfectly, not overnight, but honestly, relentlessly, and with unbreakable cryptographic tears of stone. This is Project Stone. This is Stone 911. This is Wonder Grid and the full Stone Tools suite. This is the shield wall. This is what we built and it's only getting started. The truth no longer has to disappear. We built the system that makes sure of that. Evidence before force. Family first, the grid endures. Family, protection, freedom.